Well, it is cold out here today. I mean, we're in the middle of winter right now. We had some snow. It's pretty much melted off because the sun's been out, but it is super cold. I think it's about 12 degrees Fahrenheit out here right now, so it's pretty chilly. I don't know if you can see my breath, but maybe not showing up on camera, but yeah, it's pretty chilly, and it's going to be cold over the next couple of days. So what am I doing to keep my rabbits warm in this weather? Honestly, not much, but we're going to get into it right now. Hey guys, welcome back to another Slightly Rednecked video. Again, my name is Chris, and if you're not familiar with the channel, well, I help you to produce your own meat, eggs, and vegetables from your backyard, your balcony, your deck, your garage, or even a spare room in your house if that's the way you want to do it. Like I said, today we're going to be talking about keeping your rabbits warm in the wintertime, and honestly, I mean, it's kind of a, shouldn't have named the video that because you don't really have to worry about keeping them warm. They got big built-in fur coats. They actually do much better in the cold of winter than they do in the heat of summer. So there's not really a whole lot you need to worry about when it comes to your rabbits. Honestly, the hardest part about keeping rabbits in the winter is watering them because the water freezes. So what I use, let me show you real quick because I'm bringing some water out to them right now. And I like these rubber bowls like this. This one's been chewed on a lot, so it's missing some of it. It doesn't hold as much water as it should. But these are my favorite ones. And actually, I think I'm going to trade it out for another one. I've gotten another pin over there because it'll hold a little bit more. But I like these because, I mean, it's full of ice right now with the water I put in it this morning. You won't be able to see this, but I just throw it down on the ground, stomp on it, knock the ice out of it. And there we go. Now it's empty. And I have to do that usually about once every day or so. When I come out here to water them in the mornings, I just fill it up just a little bit, just that much water in it, because they're not going to drink it all before it freezes anyway. I'll usually come out again later in the day when I get home from work, give them a little bit more, about that much more on top. They'll go and drink as much as they want at that point, and then it'll freeze over. And usually by about every 2 days or so, I got to knock ice out of it because there's no room left to put water in it. I'm going to trade this out real quick, and I'll be right back with you. So this one is a little better. It's still got a mark chewed out of it, but it's a little bit better. So let me give her some water real quick. Get back, get back, get back. But that is honestly the hardest part about keeping the rabbits. There you go. There's you some water. And she'll probably drink quite a bit of that right now. Maybe. She may not be that thirsty. But that's it. That's the hardest part about keeping rabbits in the wintertime. As long as you can give them a windbreak of some kind, you may be able to tell I've got tarps up. The wind is blowing this direction predominantly. Hardly ever comes this way. If it does, if we get a big storm or something and it's going to be blowing in this way, I'll pull these tarps down over the front of them. But as long as they have a windbreak, as long as they can get out of the wind, they're going to do just fine. Now, I've had a lot of viewers ask me about stuffing their cages with straw or something like that. It's usually not a good idea. It's not necessary, first of all. And it's not really a good idea because all that straw is going to hold moisture. And when it's super cold out like it is now, moisture is the enemy. I mean, you don't want a lot of moisture, running around the cage. You don't want them urinating on it and then freezing to them, that kind of thing. You really don't want to do that. You could provide them with like nesting boxes stuffed with straw. They'll get in them sometimes, but honestly, it's not necessary. You don't need to worry about doing that, and it's going to hold a lot more filth than it actually provides them with any kind of extra warmth or anything like that. When I put I breed in the wintertime, so usually if I put a nest box in there and I put it in too early, they end up throwing all the straw out of it. They don't even use it as bedding. They just throw it all out and it all goes all over the place anyway. So, it's really, again, not a necessary thing that you need to do. The biggest thing is just keep them watered. And you're going to have to bring water out a couple of times a day. I've not found a good solution for a heated waterer for the rabbits. If there's anything, you don't want to put electrical cords inside the cage because they'll chew them up. They'll chew on anything, so you don't want to do that. I know some people have talked about running pumps, like circulating water through lines for them in the wintertime. That's a possibility. I guess you could do that. You could put a submersible heater in like a 5-gallon bucket and use a pump to circulate water through. That would work, probably, and depending on how cold it gets and if you can keep that out of the wind. But my concern about trying to heat like a heated water bottle or something like that, unless the water is circulating, it's probably going to freeze right there at the nipple, at the point where they get the water out of it. That part's going to freeze more than likely. So you're better off just most of the time just using these bowls. It's not that big a deal for me. Most of the time, I just, like I said, I come out twice a day, give them a little bit of water, and that's plenty to get them through the day. I'll give you a little bit of water too. There you go. And just a little bit, because I don't no sense in filling the water bowl all the way to the top, have him drink a little bit, and then have the rest of it freeze in there. And you can see he's going right to it. He's going to drink as much as he wants right now. He probably won't drink all that I just gave him, but that's really all that's necessary. If I can keep them watered, they're going to do just fine. And as long as they don't have their babies when it's 10 degrees out, I usually don't have any issues with losing litters. Now, I will tell you, this doe right here, she's a first-time mom. Well, she's working on being a first-time mom. Her first litter, she had one baby, had it on the cage floor. It was a total disaster, but first time. She just had her second litter a couple of days ago, and it happened to be the coldest day of the year. I think it was 6-7 degrees Fahrenheit when she had her babies during the day while I was at work. And when I got home to check on them, she had dug her way. She had a nest box in there. She did do everything right for the most part, had her babies in the nest box, built a nest for them, but she had kicked most of the straw out, and she had dug all the way to the bottom, so she had them right there on the cardboard on the bottom of the nest box. And unfortunately they chilled and we lost that whole litter. So I'll give her a couple of days, and then I'm going to rebreed her and we'll try again. Usually, especially with an experienced mom, I stuff that nest box just as full of straw as I can get it. And they usually just kind of mat it down a little bit, have their babies in there, cover them with fur, and they do just fine. Even if it is, 7, 8, 10 degrees out, they do just fine. She did pull fur and she did cover them, but because they were on the cardboard at the bottom of the nest box, I think they got too chilled that way. I tried to save them, tried to warm them up, but I was too late. I didn't get there in time. So let me get these other guys watered, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about a few more things real quick. One other thing I noticed is sometimes when we get these real cold streaks, I do find that they eat just a little bit more. So just watch your rabbits. If they start eating a little bit more, give them a little bit more feed. Now, rabbits won't eat if they don't have access to water. So again, that's the primary thing. You got to make sure they have water. And morning and evening, twice a day, that's plenty. Just give them some water. They'll drink as much as they want. Everybody right now is getting their fill of water. He's already drank as much as he wanted, and he's back to eating. So, give them plenty of water, and they're going to be fine. If they start, acting like if they've cleaned out their pellets, let me show you. Hang on, I'm starting to ramble. Let me get my head straight. We'll get this out a little bit clearer. So, they get about this cup. I think that's about 8 ounces roughly. They get a cupful of this feed a day, my adult rabbits do, unless they have babies, and then their feeder stays full. But other than that, they get about this much feed per day. Now, if they start acting like if they're clearing that out in 24 hours, when I come out to feed the next morning, it's empty, and they're just diving into their food as soon as I put it in there, well, I give them about that much more the next day. And I just kind of follow that. If they're still eating it all and acting like they're starving, well, I give them just a little bit more the next day. And then just try to balance that out to where they clean their pellets up mostly within 24 hours, and they're not acting like they're starving when I come to feed them. That's really about it. Now, sometimes they do increase their appetite a little bit in the wintertime, especially when we get some real cold snaps that come through. I will notice that, not always, but it's quite often, they'll start eating just a little bit more, and that's probably to help keep themselves warm. One of the things that might help during that time too is throw some black oil sunflower seed in there. Not a ton, they're super high in fat, but maybe 5 or 6 a day, throw it in with their feed. They do love the black oil sunflower, and that will help give them a little bit of warmth to warm them up and to get them to help stay a little bit warmer, I guess is the way I should put it. Anyway, having a hard time getting my words out clear today for some reason. But anyway, that's really about it. I mean, it's like I said, it's like 12 degrees out here or something like that, and you can see they're doing fine. They're just hanging out. They're a little bit more active than they normally would be, chewing on their chew sticks, eating, drinking the water I just gave them. They're doing fine. You don't need to stress about it. You don't need to give them extra bedding or anything like that. In fact, like I said, most of the time that can actually be a little bit more negative than it is positive. So Anyway, hopefully this puts your mind at ease if this was something that you were worried about. I have shot video on this before, but it's been a topic that's come up in live broadcast a couple of times. And I figured we got new subscribers, we'll shoot another video and just explain that to you guys. So thank you so much for watching. And as always, God bless.